Hello everyone.
Hello.
Today we are having coloring books. But coloring books, you ask? Yes, not normal coloring books. Because these are called, and now my bad French comes to play, Coloriages, mystères, I think.
I don't know. I have no knowledge of French.
These books are being released by a French company called, I think, Hachette. I think it's being spelled. And those are coloring books of the kind that you would expect, like in a painting by numbers box.
Yes. So I think the one to show best with an uncolored image is this one, because this one has the darkest print. This one has the lightest print. So I'm just going to go where nothing has been colored. And I am sure we can see, yes we can. We can see that we have a lot of squiggles and stuff.
I see absolutely nothing coherent out of this.
Okay, I can see that this is from the Emperor's New Groove and that's from Bugs Life.
I trust you on that.
Okay, so everything has a color guide underneath for each picture. Every one will be different. And you basically need to be like, okay, so color number 3 here is like a light blue. So you need to have a look in here to see which squiggles have 3 in it, and you'll know it will be light blue. And then you go in there with your light blue and you color it.
Yes, if you ever did, as I said, a painting by numbers kit, this is exactly the same. Well, the same system, although probably not the same colors, I assume, since the colors are always different. And as you also have noticed, it's all Disney themed images.
Yes. There are other collections that they have. Some have, I think there's 3 volumes in Looney Tunes, and I know there's a Smurfs volume. I think they also do other things that aren't branded. I'm not sure. I haven't looked that deep. It's just the Disney ones interested me so much because I had a lot of Disney coloring books when I was a child, which were always my favorite. So having something like this interested me a lot.
Understandably. I see a guitar here.
Yeah, that's from the movie Coco.
Okay. We should also point out that coming by these books can be a little challenging sometimes. I pointed out this is a French company that releases these. We are in Germany, so we are like the neighbors of France, and due to the European Union, we can easily import and get our hands on stuff like this. If you are sitting overseas, it may be like a little harder, I have heard. I think there are import taxes, etc.
Yes.
We paid like 15 euros. I think that's roughly also $15 in USD. But the prices vary due to the all import business.
Yeah, because I stumbled upon somebody on TikTok. They were American and they bought one of these books, and other Americans were asking in the comments like, OMG, how did you get it? And yeah, that poor person ended up paying $40, including all the shipping and taxing, just for one book.
Well, that's very expensive. However, I mean, I think 15 euro for something like this is actually not too bad, because I was a little skeptical about the picture quality, because we all know coloring books normally, but the paper quality in these books is actually very good.
Yeah, the paper quality is very thick and it is bound properly. I think it's called Coptic stitch, don't quote me. They actually like sewn together like proper books, and then they have like quite a lot of glue to hold it all into place. So this particular one, I have one particular page in here where you can actually see the thread. Let me just do a jump cut here. So here's a double spread. This is the only one I have that has double spread in it. I don't know if, I think this is the latest volume, I'm not sure.
And I can actually see what's going on this image. Yay!
Yay! So yeah, you can see here that there is a thread here from where this book was sewn. But no, they are really well made. The paper quality is really good.
I'm very impressed by it.
So let's go on to a coloured image.
Yes, show us.
Here we go. This is a double spread that I did the other day. It's not my best colouring. I had one marker go dry. Yeah, I'm using acrylic markers.
Which we should point out. If you have seen one of our last videos, we have showed you that we bought like a boatload of acrylic markers from Temu, because they are very cheap there. as opposed to Posca pens, which are the same thing and probably much better quality, but they're also like much more expensive. And you need like lots of colors for this.
You need lots of colors. So just very quickly, in that video that we did, this was one of them we showed. This is one of them we showed.
And
The
if
other
you
boxes are thrown away, so I've got some in the see-through thing.
and if you haven't seen that video, I shall link it somewhere, probably at the end of the video, so you can actually take a look if you're interested.
Yes. So I'm going to take all of these away now. And in that video about the acrylic markers, I did mention that 2 more were on the way, and this is interesting. So I got the set here, and I got the set here. Now this set here, I thought, oh no, I've basically bought exactly the same thing. I actually didn't. Not one of these colors in here, except for black, which doesn't count. None of the shades match the ones in here. So there's 48 and there's 60.
Which is a good thing for this
Yeah.
book, because you need like lots of variants. I mean, obviously you do not have to like stick to the color scheme if you don't want to, but it's recommended.
So yeah.
And the more colors you have to pick from, the better.
So here, this is duct tape, because this is that terrible plastic that if it breaks, you get cut on it. So I just put duct tape here so I couldn't scratch myself. They're not going to stay in here forever. I'm going to get something to put them in. But I basically just kept it to show you this weird SpongeBob that's on this box.
Oh god, it looks questionable, but okay.
So even though I have so many markers, there are still instances where I don't have the correct color.
What do you do then?
So what I do then, which I will need to switch to this book, because this is where I used it the most so far. This book's always open where I color, except for today. So I did this one the other day. So there's a lot of this light blue. So even though I had a marker that was very similar to this, I didn't want to waste it on here. So what do? I mix gouache paint.
And the paper holds it very nicely, I must say.
Very nicely, there's no crinkles, nothing.
I mean, I have seen people painting directly into sketchbooks, and the pages, even though they are like all right in the end, they wave and buckle and do nasty things. Not so this paper. This paper just shrugs and be like, yeah, carry on.
It just shrugs and off you go. But yeah, this gouache set was sent to us by Audrey. It's Master's Touch gouache, and I actually really like it. I'm exclusively using this to mix my colours for what's going on here. There's another one I had to mix colours on was in this book. This is the one I finished today. And this one I had to mix a few colours with gouache because I did not have a marker in that colour. So I'm actually wondering at some point to do a challenge to maybe colour one of these pictures exclusively with gouache paint.
That would be interesting to see how that turns out. As we are talking about paints, this is a good spot to actually point out. As you just said, this one picture you just showed had like a lot of blue of the same color. And this one, well, you can see it's a lot of dark gray it is, or black, or whatever you want it to be. It's probably not the best idea to do these with color pencils, because if you do that with a color pencil, your color pencil will basically be gone in the end.
Yes.
And I've seen people on Amazon complaining about this. But again, you do not have to use color pencils. The paper is meant to take any kind of paint or coloring.
And it doesn't go through either. And I'm thinking that gouache paint is probably the best to go with if you don't have acrylic markers, because with the gouache paint you don't have to, a little bit of it goes a long way, and even if you mix too much you don't have to throw the paint away, because even though the gouache will dry on your palette, you can re-wet it to activate it and you can use it again.
It's its superpower.
It's its superpower. So yeah, so let's talk about choosing colors quickly, because you'll notice on these there's a lot of numbers written underneath some of the colors. So yeah, you can see I didn't have a color there or here. That's where I ended up mixing colors. So I actually swatched all my colors, and if you go back on the channel, there is a video where I showed how I actually labeled my markers, because none of them are labeled in any way. So I've actually made this foldable little palette chart with all the colors and all the numbers that they have, so that I can find them.
That's really cool.
So the reason why it's folded all weird is so that I can literally fold it at the colors on the edge, and then I can literally, you know, just see and be like, aha, so that one is the closest. And then if I feel it's not close enough, then I can fold it another way
and continue
and
the
be
search.
like, yeah, and be like, okay, well that one matches closer. I have seen other people have way more elaborate systems than me, where they literally have these thicker pieces of paper where they actually like use a paper punch and they make a hole in it, so they can literally hold the color over there with a hole in it so they can see the color through it. I mean, yeah, I would like to do something like that one day, but I don't have a paper punch like they are using to do this kind of thing.
Oh, that's a fun project for the future then.
That's a fun project for the future. So yeah, I just wanted to show like how I chose my colors, which I've shown. And then because I have so many markers, where's the one I'm busy on now? Yeah. I'm busy on this one now. So her dress, I didn't have a marker in this color, so this is actually gouache again, which I mixed earlier. So because I have so many markers, and because I don't sit and color these all in one sitting, because that would take forever. So I've kept this pencil case aside, and this one has all the markers in that I would need for this picture. So this is all of them, plus more in there, and then I always keep a fine liner for, you know, labeling the colors as I go. So just to show you quick, so color number 1 is black, which would be here. I know this probably won't show very well because of the overhead thing, my hand probably being in the way.
No, you can see it.
Okay. And then yeah, so there, I've just colored in her pupils. I'm not going to do her eyelashes on camera because that would be too stressful. Let's see, is this the right color I need? No, it's not. That would be...
It's a bit hard to demonstrate these things on a camera because, well, we obviously have like the camera set up so that it films the table, and then we have to work around the camera. So if you see the camera shaking now and then, that's the reason why.
Yeah, it would be my arm hitting it. So yeah, so the line art is this color here for the skin tones. So yeah, you just have to look for where the letter is, which is N in this case, and then basically you fill in all the letter N with this color that I've chosen here.
Yes, classical painting by numbers method.
Yes, it's very relaxing, and I do absolutely recommend doing these either with gouache paint, but that will take way more patience. I'm just warning you because you'll have to mix your own colors unless you have a big set. Because doing it with either gouache paint or acrylic markers I feel is the best, because I mean you can't use alcohol markers, it will suck through this paper like anything.
Yeah, this paper is good, but even that has its limits.
That's its limits. So I'm going to show you the very first picture that I coloured, because this was the very first one I got, because villains are always my favourite. So this was the very first one I coloured, and you can see that I was struggling a lot here. I ended up using water-based markers, which, yeah, they worked, but some of them were a bit more juicy than others, that they did actually start bleeding through on the other side. So I was like, no, I'm not going to use that in this book. And then I ended up using coloured pencil, which, you know, it takes way too much time. It's way quicker and way more fun to do it with a marker or paint, in my opinion. So probably what I'm going to do in the future, I'm probably going to go over this one again, but probably with gouache paints, because I tried with acrylic marker here, it's not liking the texture that the pencil crayon left, so I think gouache would probably be better.
Probably.
So yeah, if
maybe we can show, you were just flipping through it.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
we can show the pictures in the back, because you can see every page in this, what it's supposed to be and how it's gonna look like in the end, so that you can maybe already gauge if something that you choose color wise is not the best choice, because we kind of notice that sometimes the darker colors are not necessarily always the right ones for the image.
Yeah, I've had issues, especially with one of them. This one. I feel that the colors that they put in the box here are not really representative of what's going on in the picture, because I did this in daylight. I didn't do it by artificial light. I prefer to choose my colors in the day by natural light, so that I have the best chance of color matching. So even though I did that for this one, there were issues, to the point that I've actually gone in and fixed it. Because, I mean, my color matching seemed to be fine, but then the more I colored, the more I'm like, no, this is not matching. So I literally took a photo of this final solution thingy here, and then I held the phone here, and then I started fixing all the mistakes. I don't know if I was just having a bad day, but especially the darker colors, I swear.
I mean, I've been looking at them too later on when you showed them to me, and they seem off-ish. But I mean, this is, I think, a problem that arises in print. Several people are involved in making the book, and you have probably like a digital copy, and it comes a little bit different out on paper. There are like several things that could have contributed to this. And then, of course, as you say, there's the lighting. Sometimes certain colors do not always look the same under different lights, even under daylight, under artificial light.
Yeah.
So yeah, what the bottom line of this is, you can always look into the back. All the pictures on their painted state as they were intended by the artist are there. You can also see if something maybe does not appeal to you, and you'd be like, hey, that pink color would look better in deep red. And of course you can change it. Nobody like keeps you from doing stuff like this.
No, that's what I did with this one, because you'll see that the smoke is shiny.
Just checking if it picks up on the, yeah, wonderful.
So yeah, here I ended up using metallic also on the mirror, because even though I color matched my purples, one thing you also need to remember with acrylic, be it in a marker or paint, it will always dry darker than when it is wet, always. So the purple smoke that was in this mirror was barely, you could barely tell it apart from the purple in the background, so I went over it with two different metallic markers, and I think it actually came out looking really nice.
It looks really, really nice, especially under the light, and it even looks better on the camera, which amplifies the effect a little bit.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then I want to talk about this one quickly. You'll notice that the black here is shiny. What this is actually Stadler acrylic paint. For some reason, it is incredibly shiny when it dries, and I don't know why. So I've actually stopped using it, and that's why I switched to Master's Touch gouache, because it will dry matte, and it's actually really good paint. The Stadler acrylic paint, I don't know why it is so shiny like this.
I have no idea. Stadler, when they do paint like this, it's usually meant for schools and students, or this may have something to do with it, but...
Yeah, this is shiny too, because it was also, I didn't have... This was only had one set of markers, so most of what you're seeing here is actually Arteza gouache paint, because one of the Arteza colors was the exact match without even mixing. And then I was too lazy to mix paint, and I was like, oh, my Stadler one has the exact brown I need, and yeah, it's shiny as anything. What I have read, that acrylic paint that dries shiny like this is apparently more solvent used to mix the color, but I don't know how true that is.
There is something to it.
There's
but,
something to it, yeah.
Well, again, bottom line, you just have to try sometimes, and if it doesn't work out, don't be shy to correct it, because that paper is amazing. It just like takes your corrections like a soldier.
Oh yeah, I've corrected so many colors. I've gone over things. Wait for it to dry, of course, because if it gets wet, then it will start eating itself because of paper and water. Wait for it to dry, and you can go over it so many times. This paper will hold it, which is great.
Awesome. So yeah, is there anything we forgot to say about these books, aside of that they are awesome? All the ones that we have are Disney themed, but I'm actually tempted once I figure out, because I'm having a little bit issue reading those numbers on the actual pages, if it's a good idea or not. I'm actually tempted to get like one of the other themed books, be it like a Looney Tunes book or a Smurfs book. We shall see, and if anyone's interested, of course, we shall show them once we get them. But yeah, anything else we must point out?
Not that I can really think of, other than that if you are interested in colourbound numbers and something with a bit more of a challenge, I highly recommend these books. They are a lot of fun. They are a good way to de-stress, though sometimes they are a source of stress, especially when you're colouring in these stupid little squares on this chair. But no, I think they are really great, and I am totally addicted, and I want another one.
Well, then we must get another one.
Yes. So yeah, I think that's it for this week.
That's it. If you liked this video, then be sure to leave us a like. Be sure to leave us a comment. Only if you comment on our stuff and tell us what you liked and what you didn't like, enables us to do more or less of it, and maybe to do completely different things if you can suggest stuff. And we shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Goodbye.